conversations with our queens from across the world. They are entertaining, educating with tons of passion. Welcome to the show, Queens Forever. Hi everyone. Feels truly on the top of the world to meet our queens from across the globe. Those who not just achieved and made their dreams come true, but those who are the pride of their country. Today, yet another queen, and let me tell you, she has a lot of firsts in her career. She believes that to those who much is given, much is required. Do not allow your past to determine your destiny. It's time for us to meet the supremely talented, the gorgeous native of Wilmington, North Carolina, Miss Sabrina Pinion, who's called Georgia her home for 25 years. She's a multifaceted career lady and, of course, has been a part of modeling, pageantry, dance, and fitness. The owner of Pageant Pros LLC Consultants and Designing Faces, makeup on location, her first beauty pageant. Ladies and gentlemen and dear friends, right from the age of 13, and she's come a long way. Her journey has been beautiful with challenges, but she believes her experience in beauty pageants have played a very crucial role. And she captured the title of Mrs. Universe 2014 at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, becoming the first woman in the United States to win this crown. May we please have the mesmerizing beauty, Sabrina, being in your class.
Thank you, Simran. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
At first, let me tell you, your accolades are so many that if I go on to tell the world about you and your achievements, it's gonna take me the entire episode. So welcome to the show, Queens Forever, brought to us by River Comics and V International, only on IndusTV. We are truly delighted to have you here. I'm going to get started right from your childhood. Your first beauty pageant at the age of 13. But when was it, at what age was it that you started dreaming of being a part of the pageantry world?
Well, to be honest with you, it was never really a dream or something that I even really focused on. My passion was dance. And at that time, my brother's girlfriend, who had been involved in pageants, she suggested that it might be a good idea if I participate in pageants, because I had a big personality and I was always moving and always dancing. And I wanted and needed a stage to really perform dance. So for me, it just kind of happened, I think, entering a pageant, but it happened because I knew I was going to be able to perform a talent. So dance was that passion that was just instilled in me, born with that love and the desire to move, and then an inclination for rhythm and for choreography, and just wanting to put myself out there, being okay putting myself out there on the stage. So I have my now sister-in-law to thank for launching my pageant career and the opportunity for me to be able to cultivate my talent on stage.
I can't believe this. So you have the entire family who's inclined towards pageantry and all achievers in your family as well. That's phenomenal, Sabrina.
Yeah, she was a small girl whenever she was in pageants, and it was something that her mother got her involved in. So she wasn't as heavily involved as I became, but it just took one. So I was in that one pageant and I watched, I learned, I listened, and then the very next month I entered another one and I won. And so unbeknownst to me, that organization also had a state and national level. So I did very well at the state level and titled there. And again, it just it started the whole ball rolling. And I think that, God really used my sister-in-law to as a catalyst. Because I never would have really known about pageants at that age because of our upbringing. And it just wasn't something that I had been around, other than seeing on television Miss USA, Miss Universe, and Miss America. But for me, it really, there was no one in our family that was involved and could coach me. So I learned on my feet and I learned by watching. And I think that I'm so grateful that God just gave me the common sense and the desire to believe that I could achieve And maybe it was just naivety and youth, but I'm so glad I didn't think too long or have a fear of it not working out or something bad happening. I just believed I could do it. I believed I could win, and I believed my talent would take me where I wanted to go.
The whole world wants to know, Sabrina, about your experience right at that time, at the age of 13, when you entered a pageant. Did you know that you're going to stay here for so long, for years together, for decades together, and then, of course, bring home the crown of the utmost prestigious Mrs. Universe? Did you think at that point of time?
I did not. I had no idea. I'm laughing because, my pageant career spanned 30 plus years, and who knew, right? That it would go on so long, that would be so beneficial, that it would open so many doors and allow me so many opportunities. And so I did not know that then. But, when you're young too, you're really taking it. For me, I had my dreams were to become a dancer and to teach as well. And so that was my focus. I was in the moment, I was in the time, but I never thought that far ahead to think that I would be involved on the level or the capacity that I have been fortunate enough to be involved, and to be to be accomplished at also assisting others in preparing and going for their goals, and seeing those goals believed through pageantry and through my experiences teaching me how to then share that and teach and encourage other women to achieve success through pageantry.
This is unbelievable, fulfilling your dreams and allowing others to dream big, as huge as it gets, and of course, really coaching them and giving them the right guidance. So let's get started, because we all and the entire universe wants to know about your experience of Mrs. Universe 2014. So tell us right from the time you applied for this beauty contest, and how did you get through, and the little journey that you had for Mrs. Universe.
So it took me actually a couple of years to find out how to enter the Mrs. Universe LTD organization, online, through emailing, and finally finding someone that had been involved in the organization. So for me, it was really more or less a 3-year event. I had been competing as a Mrs. delegate and had done really well in other organizations, but I've always been very specific about the organizations I participate in, because for me, not every organization is for every lady. I think you have to find the organization that best suits your body type, what your goals are, if they are attached or aligned with any type of organization or cause. So for me, Mrs. Universe LTD lined up with part of my calling and my purpose in life, which is the human rights of women and children vis-a-vis domestic violence and abuse. So for me, this was very important that they have an underlying cause, some type of philanthropic opportunity for me to be involved in, and to share my story, my family story of how I grew up. So once I entered, I had to compete at the national level and had to win Mrs. USA, and I did, and that was wonderful. I was so overwhelmed, but I have to say this: preparation, the prize is in the preparation. And so it's not just in seeing the end result or what you want, it's in the work that you do toward the goal. So there's preparation before the prize. And I tell my clients this also: no matter what you do in life, whether it's getting your education to become a scientist, a doctor, or a tech education, there's preparation that you have to go through, and growth that you have to go through. And preparing for an event such as Mrs. USA or Mrs. Universe LTD, there's a lot of preparation in body, mind, and spirit. You have to be prepared to know that there has to be more than the crown. You have to have a goal other than just the winning, because one woman would go home with that particular crown and sash. So my journey gave me 2 months after winning Mrs. USA to actually prepare for Malaysia. So I won, and then had about 2 months, give or take, to actually be prepared for the international event. I was prepared at nationals before I ever competed. My preparation was for the end game, because I was preparing to become the next Mrs. Universe. Now, you can only control what you can control. So I was as prepared as I could be, like I said, body, mind, and spirit. And then I knew I had to entrust what was going to happen to God and to the judges. And it was a magnificent experience. And it's a big word, but it was so much more than just a pageant. It truly was an experience and a life event. The people of Malaysia were just incredible. They gave us a lifetime, once in a lifetime memorable experience that is very difficult to describe without being there. It was worth every single moment of the nearly 3 years searching for how to entering, preparing for Mrs. USA, and then going on to Mrs. Universe. It was worth every single bit of it.
So right from participating at the age of 13, the beauty pageant, and still taking 3 years to definitely win the crown. Now, this is truly humongous. And for all those who think that, well, it's just a cup of cake, it's just a matter of 1 year or 6 months, well, hear it, how it goes. Absolutely wonderful. Sabrina, a lot of us, a lot of our beauty queens love to get into the film world because that's the right platform you get to showcase your talent and to get into the television and the film world. So Bollywood would love to have international beauties like you. Do you have any intentions to be a part of our Bollywood fraternity?
Listen, I would just reach out to Bharat. I mean, that would be my go-to for Bollywood. It would be magnificent. Bollywood is huge. Bollywood is, it crosses every ethnic line, socioeconomic class. Everyone is very aware of Bollywood now and the power and the strength and quality of talent. So I would go to Bharat for that.
So he's going to appear here on screen right now. Maybe please welcome our #1 promoter of art and culture in the United States. Let's have Mr. Bharat Goradia here with us.
Thank you, Simran. Thank you. Sabrina, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good to see you.
Pleasure is mine, dear. Anyway, first of all, to all the viewers of IndusTV, Namaskaram. Simran, Namaste. And Sabrina, you are a global international personality. So to you, a global namaste to you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Wonderful. On behalf of our sponsor, River Comics, We International, it is my great privilege and to welcome you on one of the finest talk show of all time, Queens Forever. A very hearty welcome to one of the finest queen from USA who has got the title of Mrs. Universe 2014. What a pleasure for me to share the screen with two of the most beautiful, multi-talented title holder personality. You are from USA and Simran is from India. So it's really my proud privilege to share the screen with both of you. And of course, it is my also privilege to take you to the Bollywood. Bollywood has become now very, very global industry like Hollywood. Everybody knows Bollywood all across the globe. And Bollywood has a very big heart. And they have already welcomed the international artists like Katrina Kaif from London, Mahek Chal from Norway, and many other artists who are from different countries of the world. And so you are such a beautiful title holder, exceptionally good dancer, and a multi-talented personality. So Bollywood would really, really love to welcome you in their fold. So thank you very much, dear, for joining us on this show, Queens Forever. A very hearty welcome.
My pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks to River Comics for making everyone's lives colorful. While you find your favorite color and, of course, really cherish those colors, we'll see you back in the next few seconds with yet another beautiful session with our queen, Sabrina Pinion, right after this super short commercial break. Hey guys, welcome back. And we are here knowing the beauteous journey of Sabrina. Sabrina, share with us the first day you entered the Mrs. Universe pageant. How was your experience taking a look at your sister queens and what was there in your mind and in your heart?
Oh, it was amazing. It was exciting. It was very exciting because, so many different countries coming together with their representatives and just the richness of the culture. I think everybody was a little nervous because it was a little daunting, but just I take in every moment. And when it comes to competition, I've always put my blinders on because I really truly believe that we're also individual. We're very individual, that each one of us represented the very best of the best. We were each potential Mrs. Universes and on equal footing and equal ground. So I focus on just my energy, conserving my energy. It's important that women that are going to compete on a national or international level remember this. And I kept reminding myself of this, especially on the first day, because I had to travel very far, obviously, as many of the ladies did to arrive in Malaysia. I knew I had to conserve my energy. Just know that you have to pace yourself, be prepared. It's survival of the fittest. Smile every minute that you are at an event, whether it's international or national, because this is special. You're going to get back to your homes and have a normal life and take care of your families and do your work. But don't get irritated. Don't get too overly tired. Pace yourself and reserve your energy, and don't focus on I'm competing with this person sitting to my left or my right or in front of me. Embrace each other by learning. I think that's the unique thing about an international pageant, international competition. You really get to understand the importance of not just thinking that you're a community of your own citizen of your own community. You're a citizen of the world, and it is truly a unique melting pot because you're all women, and we know that a bunch of women getting together can be a really good thing or a really scary thing. But I had a wonderful, positive experience. I can tell you that the ladies were incredible, and the first day was beautiful, exciting, and again, just reminding myself to pace me and to focus on taking everything in. So that's really what my first day was about, taking it all in moment by moment and just reserving my energy, but also remembering just to be kind and smile. And that puts everybody at ease.
Beautiful. What was the most challenging aspect you had at the time of the pageantry? And is there any point of time you realize, I need to really pull up my socks now, this is going to be difficult? Did you ever feel that throughout, or were you mentally prepared that you are your best version?
And I was prepared. I don't, and I mean this very humbly confident that I would not have gone without being prepared. The one thing I will never do is step on a stage to compete without knowing I've done all I can do. So I was completely mentally, physically, emotionally prepared. I don't think everyone is, because you're very far away from your home and your family. So you do, when you compete at a national or an international, as you've experienced as well, you do see some of the ladies around you start to crumble or become vulnerable because they miss their families. They've never been so far away from home. So it is more difficult for them. I think because I've modeled around the world for so long at a young age. I left home at a pretty young age, started working and performing. That's not daunting to me to take a couple of suitcases and go halfway around the globe and be there for an undetermined amount of time and work and be around women with strong personalities and that were beautiful. That gets to a lot of people. So I'm not saying it's easy or that it shouldn't, but it never got to me. Here's something funny. What was the most challenging is really something silly. So we were going constantly. It's very, very warm in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, very humid. And we were constantly going, and they never wanted us to have anything in our hands. And so I was so dehydrated. I could not get enough water. You cannot get ice in Malaysia. So it's a very silly thing, I know, but that was the biggest challenge for me because I literally everywhere I go, I have at least 2 to 3 beverages around me. So that was the most challenging thing. And having said that, that will start to wear on you physically. And I had to make sure every time we unloaded the bus, every time we finished an appearance, every time there was water available, that I was drinking water. And again, that goes along with survival of the fittest. You have at a national pageant or international, you've got to keep a schedule, and it can't be about you whining because you need water. So you find it when you can, and you drink it when it's available. But no, I was very prepared. And again, that's not a cocky statement. I knew that it was my one shot, and that I had to be the Mrs. Universe they were looking for.
Beautiful. I think I'm going to really frame every single word of what has been said in my diary, and especially, when you said you're humbly confident. Oh my God, it's very touching. And you've been training and grooming all the beauty queens, and so what is that one advice you give them usually? Sharing your experience with them on how to go ahead and be humbly confident.
Yeah, you really have to be okay with being who you are and focus on your own strengths, and not worry about focusing on weaknesses or trying to be like anyone else. So to organize that comment, and this is what I tell women, you have to be as prepared as you can be before you compete, before you go to orientation, because if you're not, you will crumble. And the second most important thing is you have to have blinders on. You cannot, when women call me from an event, or they're worried about who they've heard is representing another country or a city or whatever the case may be, if it's a teenager, who else is competing that's won so many other titles, I have to reel them back in and say, and focus, a different day, a different set of judges, a different outcome. You have to hyper focus on blinders on, being in your lane. You're nice, you're cordial, you're enjoying the experience, and you're taking it all in. So you cannot just focus on just the win. You have to focus on the experience, knowing you've done all you can do once you get there. You cannot enjoy the experience if you're there trying to decide which gown you're going to wear for competition. You should have decided all of that before. Be prepared, be focused, blinders on, and realize that you are the next fill in the blank, or it will be extremely difficult to make it through a pageant that is more than a day. It really will, because women will get overwhelmed and they will start doubting themselves, and that internal dialogue will turn on you. So that is, be yourself, enjoy the moment, be in the moment, and blinders on.
Do you think fitness and dancing, which have been your passion since childhood, really helped you outrun the other contestants? Maybe outrun is not the right word, but be better than them as far as the physical aesthetic appearance is concerned, posture is concerned, and energy is concerned?
I absolutely believe that it's a factor. And that's why I'm saying not every event is for every woman as far as pageantry goes, and pageants are not for all women. I've heard that said that, oh, there's a pageant for everybody. Not necessarily, because there's a whole psychology that goes into competing, no matter what the level, if it's athletics, if it's scholastics, academia, but especially in pageants, because it is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the weak, because you are putting yourself out there to be judged. And I call it the gauntlet. So I do think that the better physically in shape you are, the more care you take for yourself, the less struggle it will be when you're preparing for competition. Now, a competition body is not necessarily going to be your everyday in shape fitness body, but the more you stay healthy and active, the better, because it also gives you a confidence on stage. It gives you a confidence in the way you hold yourself. And if you have fitness competition or swimsuit category, then you're going to feel more confident, and you're going to carry whatever you're wearing better, no matter what it is. And I think you just carry yourself in general better if you feel like you are healthier, and that you are at your best as far as your fitness, physique, and goals. And as far as dancing and being on stage performing, the more connected you are to your anatomy and the way to stand and hold yourself and make your musculoskeletal system look nicer on stage, that is extremely beneficial. And you can also learn that, and that's where coaching comes in. So that doesn't mean everybody is going to look the same. Everybody's not going to have the same body, and they shouldn't. And everybody's not going to present it the same way. But there is a way for everybody if they learn how to engage with their physique, or if they have a coach that can help them do that where they are at their best. And their best is not necessarily going to be looking like a fitness competitor, and that is okay too. And this is super important that women understand also, being swimsuit ready for a competition you're not going to be swimsuit ready for a competition every day of your life for the rest of your life if you were 27 and competed and then you're 47. It's a different body. It's a different shape. It can still be your best shape and your best fitness body, but you have to let go of that 27-year-old in shape fitness body. And I'm very passionate about that because also having been a trainer and working with women, not only in pageants, but just in everyday life, we're hard on ourselves. So I think that definitely dance and fitness for anyone is going to help you perform better on stage, compete better on stage.
This is so interesting. And I'm going to come to your communication skills. I think you're one of the most fabulous orators we've ever come across. So
Thank
how is
you.
it? Is it that you've really worked on yourself? Or again, are you a very natural and blessed with great oratory skills?
Well, you're very kind, and I'm humbly appreciative for that affirmation. I really am, because that's a challenge for me. I judge myself very harshly because I don't think that I'm this natural, amazing speaker. My voice cracks, and I have a Southern accent. And so I listen to so many amazing women like yourself that speak for a living and are commentators on television shows, or my friends that have podcasts. And I think that's one of the things that we sometimes have to overcome is, our weaknesses or our fallacies or those things that we think that we struggle with. But I appreciate you saying that. I think that the key for me is I call myself unedited because I'm not good at editing, and I don't take myself too seriously. So I really want to be what you see is what you get. And that doesn't mean I don't think about the way I'm saying things or I don't try to articulate them better because of my accent or my deep voice, all these things. But I do think that I've embraced my transparency. It's important to me because I don't enjoy watching myself or listening to myself, and I don't think any of us really do. But I want people to understand that I really am sincerely grateful for every opportunity that I have like this, because I know they don't come along all the time. And I'm so grateful to be able to talk about the richness of what I do and what I've gained from it, because pageantry in the United States doesn't always have the best reputation or get the most accolades in our society. It's different. So I have learned just to be what I am. What you see is what you get as far as speaking, answering questions. I'm probably brutally honest. Sometimes I try to hold back more. Because I'm honest to a fault. But I think that's an important thing. Jumping back to another question that you asked me earlier, I think you may not have asked me this yet, but if I can give a piece of advice, and I think you'll probably end up asking me this if you haven't, to women, especially that are competing at Mrs. Universe or any international, is try to be your authentic self, because really good organizations and really good judges, especially internationally, when you're being watched for 7, 8, 9, 10 days, they can see through you if you are not sincere and if you're not being as authentic as you can be. So good, bad, or indifferent. Unfortunately, I am what you see is what you get.
Wow. Some more interesting questions. A humble thanks to River Comics and Way International for this brilliant show, Queens Forever, only on IndusTV. See you guys soon, right after this super short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for We International Founder, President, Chairman, Mr. Bharat Goradia, Bollywood star. Mr. Bharat Goradia with legendary singers from Indian music industry. He believes in spreading smiles over everyone's faces. Sports champion. The Dada Saheb Phalke Award and Bharat Gaurav Pride of India Award winner Mr. Bharat Goradia has been innumerably awarded across the globe for his outstanding work in the field of promoting Indian arts and culture all over the world.
sure there was so much more to know from Miss Sabrina, and I think this is going to be the longest episode. It is because of the content she has, and of course, at the same time, she knows how to let the world know about how to be the best version of yourself. Sabrina, truly, truly amazing to know you as a person, and of course, to see you on stage for Mrs. Universe, and now to know you still better, a few years later, sharing your experience. So tell us, when your name is announced and you have to be on stage, the final stage for the grand finale of Mrs. Universe 2014, what is the last thing you think on your mind? Do you pray? Are you focused? So just before your name is to be taken, the last 60 seconds to 2 minutes, how focused are you? And how do you really, in that moment of nervousness, have the right perception?
It's, again, this is kind of a funny story, but not Karamanga was Mrs. Thailand, and she was beside me, and she was just so much fun. She was a doll. So what people do not realize, I think, about our year and most of the Mrs. Universe years, we were on stage for probably about 45 minutes to an hour before they announced the top 5. So we have superlative awards that they're giving, and there's many women. And so we were literally talking like ventriloquists under our breath without moving our lips, about our feet hurting. And she said, if you win, you hug me first. And if I win, you hug me first. And we're having this whole conversation without moving our lips on stage. So that was kind of funny because we had a lot of time. When it came down to the top 5 being introduced, I don't get to tell the story, so it's kind of fun. I should be a lot more serious probably, but I had to tell that because not a lot of people know that part about Knock and I talking. They announced the second runner-up was Mrs. United Kingdom. And so when they announced Robin, and the first thing I heard was Mrs. United, I was weak. I went weak in the knees, because the entire time they generally refer to me as Mrs. United States of America. And so when they said that, I thought, this is me, and I just kind of, my knees went a little bit weak. But then when they announced to me, I was just so, you prepare, like I said, and you embrace, winning and being as prepared as you can be. And this is something that you manifest. And I did. I really manifested this even before nationals. And that was a lot of conversations between myself and God, and a lot of support from people. That was a culmination. So I think that initially I was just so grateful, and just so taken back. And then just it was very surreal because, like we've discussed, it was a culmination of over 30 years of starting as this little 13-year-old girl that grew up in domestic violence. And we struggled financially, but I had great siblings. I was surrounded by wonderful people. And I had a grandmother that was just the end to end all. To know her was to love her. And she was such a woman of inspiration for me. She helped make my gowns. I borrowed costumes from people. We did not have the financial means for me to be a pageant girl back then. And all the sponsors, the doors I knocked on, these are people that will never know how they helped me. Not only, it's not about just winning the titles, but to have a future, the opportunities that this gave me to get out of the life that I was raised in. And love my family very much. But, we had a hard life, difficult life, as many people do. So for me, it was a culmination of all of that. And I remember going to the after party and just sitting on the couch and looking at my then director. And I said, I just can't believe this. And I just started to cry because all these people come rushing back in that moment. And this is just a pageant to a lot of people. But this was, again, a culmination of, like you mentioned earlier, a little girl with big dreams. I was a little girl with big dreams that was very hyper. So my sister-in-law said, you need to do this. How fun with that energy. And so it was very surreal and emotional for me. It was just, it was overwhelming to a degree. And you kind of go through that fog. And then at the after party, I sat and I realized what had just happened, and how my family couldn't be there because it was too far and it was too expensive. And my husband couldn't be there with me. So I was alone. And my director was there, but other than that, that was it for me. And all those people, even though I was alone, all those people were there with me. My sister, my siblings, my grandmother, my mother, my foster parents, all of those people were there with me in that moment. And so they may not know this, but they all shared in that moment. And I'm so grateful for pageantry. As much as some people dismiss it, it has opened the doors and opportunities along the way for me personally, financially, relationships, my ministry, sharing the pledge campaign, and our family's story of overcoming and having victory over violence. And again, not allowing your past to determine your destiny. That is a part of the fabric that creates the pathway for us to be successful at whatever we choose to do. And I'm so grateful for that.
Ms. Sabrina has had an incredible journey, and it is very special the way she shared every single arena of her life with us. We are so happy to have you here with us on our show, Queens Forever, and I think it couldn't have really got better than this. So, Ms. Sabrina, we come to our last part of the show. That's the rapid fire round. So we're going to have some questions. So are you all ready?
Yes.
So what's the first thing you did after winning the crown of Mrs. Universe 2014?
I spoke to my husband on the phone. After my after party, I spoke to my husband on the phone, and we shared that moment, and that was really special.
What's the first thing you ate after winning the Mrs. Universe pageant?
I was so tired when I went back to my room that we had gone to a sponsor event and we all had been given a box of chocolate cereal. I was starving. And so I went back to my room and ate dry chocolate Kellogg's cereal.
Oh, that's interesting. That's still a very healthy choice. So tell us which foods you have to give up on and for how long before you enter the beauty pageant.
I had been preparing. I had prepared for Mrs. USA, and so there was only 2 months between then and winning. But I love bread, as I know most people do. But I had given up bread for a really long time. Carbs.
Wow. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so then let me tell you that you had a very fantastic choice even after winning the pageant. So that's very healthy what you had. Which are your favorite foods that you gave up on? I'm asking you about this because a lot of our beauty queens or those who aspire to be one really would like to know that people starve. But the thing is that we don't starve, we eat the right food. So that's
Correct.
the reason I'm asking you, which were your favorite foods besides bread you had to give up on and adopt some energy foods?
I have to be honest with you, because I'm primarily vegetarian or pescatarian. I don't eat fried food. I don't drink soda. I did not have to give up a lot. I tell you what I did, and that's, I think, is important, is I did manipulate when I was eating and what I was eating. And I do this with clients regularly anyway. It's not always what you eat, but it's how much and when you eat it. So I think for anybody that's preparing, we don't have time for this discussion, but anyone that's preparing to compete for any type of event where you're going to be judged in fitness wear or swimsuit, or even wanting to look amazing in an evening gown, you need to contact someone that has a nutrition background or a trainer that knows how to eat for your body type and also how to eat for the way that you're training. That's very important. So I was doing intermittent fasting before intermittent fasting was a thing that everyone was doing. So for me, that's something that I continue to do. I stopped eating late at night, certain things. And again, I did give up sugar because I did like my sweets and my bread, which are carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. So those are things we need to eat in moderation anyway. I think moderation is key. And so for any title holder, since we're specifically talking about pageants, I think that's preparing, starvation is not the key. There's a way to eat, and it's what you eat, when you eat it, how much you eat, and when to eat when you're training for specific results. Those are important things. And so I recommend that women reach out to a professional and at least have a few sessions of getting that on track, so that your brain needs to function properly when you're in an interview, or just when you're speaking to sponsors, or the week that you're competing and, you're speaking with the other delegates or the directors or owners, you need to have brain food. You need to have energy. So we need food sources. We need nutrition for that.
Who's been your biggest inspiration in the field of pageantry? Any queen that you always look up to, or you've been following them?
There's really not. I know so many title holders that are amazing, amazing women. So there's not one in particular. As far as the past, I just know so many amazing title holders. I will say specifically the person that comes to mind with this, now that I have my own trademark pageant, and I'm the director of Mrs. USA Universe Ltd. Shannon King is our current Mrs. USA Universe Ltd. And she has such a tremendous story of surviving adversity and abuse. She has a podcast, King Size Life, and her story, you can find it there. Her story's been on television. She's amazing. So I have to say, I'm incredibly blessed. I've had incredible, amazing, accomplished title holders over the past 5 years since I started my own trademark pageant. International pageant. Shannon King is incredible. Her story is moving, inspiring, encouraging, and she knows how to utilize that and where she is now in her success to help equip other women, which is what she is doing through the Pledge campaign. And so I just love her and appreciate her so much and admire her.
Wow. If you had to do makeup in 3 minutes span, what would you like to focus on?
Yeah, I'm really fast. I'm really fast with my own makeup and day to day, but because I've done makeup for so long, I'm pretty quick with my own and someone else's. But for myself, if I've got 3 to 5 minutes, which is normal day to day, is generally brows and concealer and powder. And I do my lipstick in the car. That's just me. I think that those are the key things. And I can generally do these except for my brows without really looking in the mirror too close. So they're just quick go-tos. You got to know what you need. And it's the concealer, the brows, the powder, and the lips in the car.
This is unbelievable. Your life is so simple and sorted out. As far as
well, that is.
Yeah, very smart. Your favorite color for the swimwear round at the time of pageant?
Red is, I love red's one of my favorite colors. And for me, it's my power color. And I think it's one of the best colors on me. And so definitely for me, red was always my color.
And the color for evening gown?
I go back to, ironically enough, I've not competed in red a lot, but I love red, but predominantly, for me, it's been some combination of, in Mrs. Universe, it was a nude with red, beading and stones, placed strategically. But I do love red, but also a royal blue is beautiful. And I also think of colors that are good on brunettes with olive skin tone. I've always looked at blondes, and they can wear such just incredibly beautiful, striking, bold colors. And obviously brunettes can as well, but for me, it's those royal colors, that red and really beautiful, like royal, not royal, but beautiful blues. So for me, that's a strong color.
How important is, the role of social media, especially when you're a part of a beauty pageant? We don't have time to be active in the social media circle, but before being a part and before going and participating and having your beautiful 10 days at the pageant, how important do you think is the role of social media and your involvement and being active participant there? Is it really important?
So I think social media probably was important in 2014, more so than I focused on. I was not a huge social media participant, and I'm certainly not what you would consider any type of influencer. I think now it's crucial that women that compete in pageantry, just like any other field of occupation, so to speak, social media is crucial because it is the first place judges go when they receive your bios or their handbook and the delegates are listed. So I think that people have to tread lightly. I'm all about being yourself and sharing your opinion as direct as you like. But if you have a title page that is public, you have to realize that the judges are going to look at your Instagram. They're going to look at your Facebook. They're going to look at your your social medias. I think it is very important now because it can be a make or break now. And that's unfortunate, but that is the society that we're in. I'm so grateful it wasn't around when I was growing up, because I'm sure I would have blown it, because as direct and as opinionated as I am now, I was even more so when I was younger. People that know me were going to be like, wow, that's scary. But yeah, I think that women have to be aware of that. And my title holders, that's one of the clauses in our contract agreement when they sign, is they have their title page, which I am the admin of, and they can post, but there's certain things that they're not allowed to post that may cross a line of negativity that they may not even realize, or some type of discriminatory comments, or brands, or products, or type of things they represent. We have to limit that on their personal pages, but judges will look at your personal page as well. It is natural instinct now. They're going to look you up on every means of social media. So I think that that's something that women are more aware of now. I think young girls in the Miss pageants that are preliminaries for Miss America or Miss Universe, the younger ladies have learned, I think, some harsh lessons from that. Also, so happy that it wasn't as important. I'm not as great at upkeep of social media as I should be. And I think there are people that have such a talent with that. And title holders need to utilize it again more to represent the brand, and more to represent a cause if there is one attached to their brand. So I do think in that way, it's very positive. I'm very grateful for it and the way it has helped, with contestants finding the events, finding pageants, finding out about opportunities to be involved in charitable organizations and philanthropy. But I think that, again, my greatest advice is that they tread lightly as to certain things they post, especially as far as the way they present their body and the way they dress. And that's important. So I think it's definitely critical now for a make or break in some organizations.
Thank you. And I think this is just the need of the hour, very important for everyone to know, where is the limit and how important it is. So thank you for sharing with us your insights about this. I come to my last question of you sharing your most memorable moment at Mrs. Universe.
Oh, so I have two that kind of tie in, and this was incredible. I've used the words incredible and amazing a lot, but there was a lot of incredible and amazing. We had an event where we were going to silent protest, a candlelight visual for victims of domestic violence and abuse in Kuala Lumpur during the event. So we had a session where we were broken into groups of 5 or 6 ladies, I believe, and we got together. We worked as a team on different ideas for promotions, for marketing, different events to raise funds for the human rights of women and children in our own countries during this session. So we came together, and it's kind of like we had to formulate a plan, give it a name, knowing what the cause was. But we worked together on a team, and it was really interesting because even though we have, language barriers sometimes, or we have different cultures, it's again, it just laments the fact that below our skin, we're all the same color, and that we are citizens of the same universe, and we have the same concerns and great ideas. And we were able to delegate who was going to present our projects, and who was going to do the writing, and who was going to do everything that we had involved in this little session that we had for these couple of hours. And then after that event, and this is the second, and I'll make it short, we had a very special time where we were in a room, candlelit, everyone sat together in quite a large circle for all the delegates, and we had tea candles. And we would go around and we would light a person's tea candle. We all closed our eyes. And so when you felt someone touch you and light your candle, they would say something in your ear about you that had been significant to them during the week of the event. It was some type of either affirmation about who they saw that you were as a person, or some way you had touched them. And you would each just go to that person that had touched you. So one person, the most. And it's really unique, but it was very emotional. And by the end of this event, we were all just weeping and tears, and it was emotional. And to this very day, the the person that came to me was the same person that I went to. And we had a connection and a bond one night at dinner about a personal conversation. And to this day, we're still friends. I've seen her get pregnant, have her child. I had met her husband at the event, and it was very unique. So that was to me, oddly enough, aside from the winning, I knew that it had been such an incredible week. Again, there's the word incredible, memorable week and moving week. It had been an event. I went to the day I left my room for competition, because we were in the theater all day long, the ballroom. I said out loud the same thing I said before I went to compete for Mrs. USA. I said, I am okay no matter what happens, because this has been so amazing. God, thank you. This has been so amazing. I'm okay. I'm good. This is done. And I meant that. And no matter what happened, I knew I had given my everything. I knew that I was prepared, but also it had been such a wonderful, memorable event, not just a pageant. And that is what I strive to do at our international, even though it's smaller. We don't have the type of funds that the incredible country of Malaysia put into our event, but it made such an impact on me. And I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. Everybody has their own experience. Mine was win, lose, or draw. I knew that I was okay, that it was the most memorable event like that I had ever experienced.
I visualized every word that you've spoken, Miss Sabrina Pinion. It's been such a pleasure to have you here with us on our show, but there is one very amazing question coming your way from Mr. Bharat Goradia ji.
Hi, Sabrina. You have conquered the hearts of everybody here. What a wonderful orator you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I just have an interesting question to ask you. Do you believe that once a queen forever?
Once a queen, always a queen. And I think we have to remember that, beauty is wonderful and beauty can open doors, but beauty without inspiration is forgotten. So just remember, a queen is always a queen if her behavior has beauty in it. So beauty is in behavior. So if you're a queen, you're always a queen. If you try very, very diligently to always remember that beauty is in your behavior. And again, it opens doors, but it doesn't change lives. Like everything else, it fades. So wear that crown in your soul and share it with others and make them feel like the queen that maybe they'll never be. Share it. You got to share that. Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Oh my
On
God,
behalf of our sponsor, River Comics, We International, thank you so very much for sparing your valuable time, sharing your experiences, knowledge and wisdom, and giving the best of the tips to all the young ladies that age is no bar. You can win any title of the world at any age. Only thing required is the fitness and the self-confidence. So I think the best thing what you have said, and you are one of the finest orator I've come across. You really deserve the title of Mrs. Universe. And see you very, very soon, and wishing you all the very best in all your forthcoming projects.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you as well. Thank you to River Comics, our sponsor, to Simran for a very incredible interview and patience with my way too long answers, to Indus Films, to IndusTV as well. And Bharat, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I really mean that. And what a great interview. You were very, very good. So again, my apologies for being so chatty, but I'm an open book, so sometimes too much.
I'm going to add one word here, Miss Sabrina. It's way too long, intelligent answers, which really allows everyone to be the best version. So we are truly delighted, and it's been one of the best episodes here at Indus Global TV. Sabrina,
thank you so much.
Thank you to all our viewers. Please feel free to share this with all your loved ones, whether or not you're a part of the beauty pageant or you look forward to being a part of the pageant. It's always our beauty queens who inspire us, who are here as the perfect figure to teach us life and the whereabouts. So good luck to all of you, and thank you for showering us with tons of love. Only on the show, Queens Forever.